On one level, it seems inconceivable that Moshe would have ever agreed to send out spies to investigate, interrogate the land of Israel, for they had the Anan, they had the clouds of glory that were protecting them the entire trip. So presumably, they would have had divine protection as they entered into the land of Israel as well. And in fact, that's how the commentaries explain God's comment in Parsha Shlach, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe, Shlach lechan, Hashem, you send spies for yourself, not for me. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's correct. But if you think it's the right thing to do, then you go ahead and do it. Shlach lecha leda'atcha. Do it according to what you think. And then we get to this week's Parsha when Moshe is recounting the story of the spies, that the spies approached Moshe, or the Bnei Israel approached Moshe about this trip to investigate, to spy out the land of Israel, and Moshe's response is, Vayitav be'enai hadavar. I thought it was a good idea. Really, Moshe? You thought it was a good idea? It was fraught with so many problems from the beginning. They came to you in an irbuvia. They came to you in a bahala. They came to you chaotically, and you think this is a good idea? How could this possibly be? The Ibn Ezra and Rabbeinu Bachya make one really poignant and strong point. They say the following: you know why Moshe thought it was a good idea? Because there was unity. Because kulchem, everyone approached Moshe and said, this is what we want to do. And perhaps Moshe thought this wasn't the smartest move. Perhaps it was better not to go through with this. But Moshe thought better of it and said, if everyone is united, if everyone is on the same page, despite all the challenges, despite the potential roadblocks, let's go ahead and do it. The power of unity is so strong that Moshe was convinced that it was worth the risks because we are together. And as we prepare for Shabbos Chazon, the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, and think about how important unity is and the fact that unity seems to be slipping away from us. We have not been able to master the art of uniting all Jews together. We think about that point, Vayitav be'enai hadavar. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if the ideas, the strategy wasn't well thought out, but they were together. And that's what matters most. For each and every one of us, as we think about Tisha B'Av and we think about the Beis HaMikdash that is not in our midst for thousands of years, and the yearning for it and the recognition that we understand that we need to be united in order to deserve something like this, it gives us pause to remember those words, Vayitav be'enai hadavar. So when we think about the Chazon Yeshayahu ben Amos, the vision of Yeshayahu, the Jews all rebelling against the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Jews acting chaotically, acting against one another, we remember that our vision needs to be a different one. Our vision needs to be one where there is unity. It doesn't need to be unanimity, as we've mentioned many times, but unity. People can disagree without being disagreeable. There's so many there's so many issues right now going on in Eretz Yisrael among Jews. Certainly very disagreeable, but the goal is to disagree without being disagreeable. And the longer that we don't have the Vayitav be'enai hadavar, the more that we're lacking in unity, the more difficult it is to reach that moment in our lives where we will merit the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash. So let's take an opportunity this Shabbos, and the truth is every Shabbos and every day of our lives, to remember and redouble our efforts to come together. Not to be of one mind necessarily, but to be of one purpose. And that is to become better people, to grow in our connection to Hashem, to grow in relationships with our friends and with our neighbors. And by doing so, we will merit the rebuilding of the third Beis HaMikdash. B'mheira v'yameinu. Amen.